What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Portland Monthly Premodern Paper Magic Afternoons January tournament. That's right, the PM is back. Had a late start this month, but I think I can still get at least the first video out still in January. So without further ado, let's get into the decks because there is some really cool spice that I want to show. First up is David on a bit of a hybrid deck. This is his brew of Oath Replenish, and as you can guess from the name, it takes the best parts of Oath decks and the best parts of Replenish enchantments decks and tries to mill them all together into what is honestly a very cool concoction. So if you're not familiar with Oath of Druids, it is 1 and a green enchantment during each player's upkeep. If that player controls fewer creatures than the target opponent, the player may reveal cards on top of their library until he reveals a creature. That player then puts that creature into play and all other cards go into the graveyard. So really good way to find your best creatures. Works especially well with Terravor, notably as its power and toughness equal to number of lands in all graveyards. But this deck also works fantastic with the card Replenish, which lets you return all enchantment cards from your graveyard into play, which means you can get tons of value from a single Oath of Druids trigger. Not only do you get a massive creature, but you get tons of really powerful enchantments like the Parallax Waves, the Parallax Tides, I almost forgot what the blue one was, Humilities, just a ton of awesome value. This deck looks super spicy. I can't wait to see how it plays. And David's opponent is Caustic on this really spicy deck that he's calling Amugaba Turns. Now, I don't know if he picked this up or created it himself, but either way, I love it. So this deck is built around the semi-recently unbanned Dreamhalls. I think that was unbanned like a year and a half ago, which is a enchantment that lets you power out any of your spells as long as you discard a card that shares a color with it. So half the deck is devoted to getting Dreamhalls out as soon as possible. You see the Show and Tells, the Lotus Petals. Part of the deck is finding it with the impulses and all the draw spells, but those draw spells pull double duty as they help refill his hand with the Dreamhalls trigger to cast more and more draw spells, essentially digging for the namesake of the deck, Amugaba, which is a 6/6 flying eel. It's big, whatever it is. The deck also has 4 time stretches to help make sure you can go for the win, as well as ways to shuffle your graveyard back into your deck and keep the cycle going. So in theory, he can take infinite turns and just swing in with this big fish. I can't wait to see if this goes off. Let's dive in. And here we go. Round number 1, game number 1. David is going to be on the left and Caustic is going to be on the right. Now, David kept a handful of 7. Caustic is still resolving mulligans. Looks like he's got a keepable 6. Going to put it back. And we are off. All right, let's see. David's got some replenishes, a whole bunch of good stuff. And Caustic is going to be on the play, just playing out one of those tap lands, which is a fantastic way to, again, power out Dreamhalls early. I believe that's the one where you can sack it for 2 blue, or you remove a counter and add 2 blue. But David's got a wasteland out. We're not having any sort of shenanigans. And let's see if Caustic has enough lands. All right, here's a different tap land. I think I'm gonna have to double check which ones these are, because some of them are you sack it to deal 2. I think this is the sack and you get 2 blue. Otherwise, you just tap it for 1. David's got the Mox. Pitching a Flood Strand, don't need that. Playing out the Brushland. And we got a Seal of Cleansing, which notably is very good with the Parallaxes, as you can interrupt the trigger on the stack, either exiling creatures or lands, as he so chooses. I think I saw both the Wave and Tide in David's hand. And we got Ancient Tomb. So if Caustic has it, he can power out the Dreamhalls here, I believe. Nope, just gonna pass the turn. Notably very bad to have that enchantment up with a Seal of Cleansing. I don't think the players know what each other were going to be playing heading into this game, but a second Seal of Cleansing is an absolutely perfect answer to whatever Caustic is going to be up to, and he's going to impulse. I don't know if he has a main deck answer to any sort of enchantment destruction that's already hit the board. He does have some counter magic, I believe, but at this point it is already too late. Also, I don't think I called out in the deck tech, but David's deck is mostly foil and absolutely gorgeous. All right, thinking about this impulse here. Trying to decide if there's a course of action. Just one Seal of Cleansing would have been bad, but having 2 up is just going to be brutal, I think. To be locked out of what you're trying to do this early on is one of the, well, nightmare fuels, I feel like, for combo decks like this, where if you can catch your opponent with them not knowing what you're doing, you can just absolutely run away with the game. But if they just incidentally have a way to stop you, it just feels pretty bad. All right, so it looks like he's figured out what he's keeping. We're gonna move to untap. And thinking through his play here. Gonna play out a blue Delta. Get a little more blue mana, maybe to hold up some counter magic. I don't think the main deck has stifles or anything, so can't get him there. But David is mostly tapped out at this point, so if he was to try and go for a Dreamhalls here and really hopefully have some sort of draw magic to respond to the seal, might be his only out to try and draw into 2 more halls. And it looks like he's got maybe 1 hall in hand. Giving a really good think here. There is something to be said too for when you're this far down in game 1, just scooping, since your opponent will not know what in the world you're doing. If I was to see this deck across the table for me without seeing the deck list, I'd have no idea what was going on. So there's something to be said for that advantage if you don't think you can power out a win here. All right, and we're gonna play out an enchantment, and it is a reader, and I actually need to look this one up as well. I vaguely remember what it does, but I'm not entirely sure. Really plumbing the depths of my pre-modern knowledge here, Caustic. Let's see. All right, I'm just trying to find it from the deck list. It's a little blurry.
As far as I understand, they will be visible. The ones you're.
They will. I'm just taking them out first.
For sure. Yeah. No.
All right, this is Mana Severance. Search my library for any number of land cards, remove them from the game, shuffle your library afterwards. All right, so he is probably going to be going for the Dreamhalls here then, trying to remove as many dead cards as he can, because he can keep activating that Dreamhalls in response, assuming this the draw spells that he does find are instant speed. And David can look here at all the lands that are not in Caustic's deck anymore. Trying to figure out what's going on here. It's definitely something combo related. Anytime you see these pain lands and sack lands for extra mana, the bells in your head just have to be ringing. It's some kind of combo. And ooh, just gonna pass after that. I guess he couldn't technically play out the Dreamhalls yet. All right, we got an island and a Parallax or Parallax Tide, sorry, which is just absolutely brutal. I don't know if there's a way to come back out of this, because Caustic literally just removed all the lands in his deck, and nope, we're scooping up, we're going to game 2. Oh man, that was something. All right, so here we are in game number 2. I really hope Caustic can do his thing and go off. This deck does look super sweet. Just hitting a stray with those seals really interrupting. Assuming he even had the Dreamhalls in hand. I assume he did. And David probably still not knowing exactly what his opponent is doing. I don't know if there was much sideboarding to be done. Alright, looks like we got Keywool 7s for both. And we're going to lead off with another mana acceleration. If I was David, I would probably keep a very similar hand to what I had in game 1 because it seemed to work so well. Looks like there is a Parallax Wave, Enlightened Tutor to go get the seal, but also has that destroy all enchantments, which is very interesting. And I didn't see an Oath, so maybe he'd be getting an Oath since he already has the artifact removal in hand. He's thinking about it. He's thinking about the seal, I guess. Nope, he's gonna grab a Sylvan Library. Very interesting. This is the newest printing, which is the only one that you can get in Old Border foil. I think it's Dominaria Remastered. Really love that they've been doing these remastered sets recently and giving some older cards a little bit of new life. Alright, so just gonna draw the library for turn and play it out. Okay, and Caustic untapping with 4 mana up. Does he have a Dreamhalls? Because this would be the time to go for it. David gets himself a little reminder on the Sylvan Library, which is definitely something I do as well, because no matter how many games you've been playing for how many years, there's a good chance you've forgotten a Sylvan Library trigger at least once. Add on the fact that this is going to be a pretty long day. We're doing 5 rounds with a cut to top 4. We had 24 people here for this edition of Premodern Magic, which is the most we've ever had, which is absolutely fantastic to see. And Caustic deciding if this is the spot, I think, where he goes for it. He has to have a Dreamhalls to be thinking this hard.
I'm one of the only people that knows what date's on. I've seen the deck.
And depending on how many draw spells he actually has in hand, it might be relevant. Nope, just gonna pass the turn.
It is spicy. I'll say that.
Yeah, I mean,
Spice factor.
And let's see, how many cards is David gonna take? Oh yeah, you want to keep those separate for sure. Not sure exactly what he's looking at. I think there's a seal. Oh, okay, just gonna take it all. Let's take 8. The guts. I mean, if you know you're playing against a combo deck, no amount of life is gonna matter. You want to have resources in hand to potentially interrupt the combo. All right, that is that an Aura of Silence? I think it's you sack it, destroy all enchantments, I believe. I can double check. Or sorry, no. Artifacts and enchantment spells cost 2 more to play, and then you can sacrifice it to destroy target artifact or enchantment. No, we're just gonna counter that. That is too good against the deck. And now is when I would probably go for it at this point, because David has had a tutor chance to grab a seal, played out his one answer he probably only had in hand.
I don't know. That's why it's scary.
And the more turns you take, the bigger chance that David's going to either draw into his own threats or draw enough ways to stop what you're doing. Alright, so we're going to impulse here. This makes sense. You want to get into some more of the big draw spells, the draw 4s, the draw 3s.
me too.
We got a Lotus Petal for a little more acceleration in case we need to do a impulse again. And we're gonna move a counter and sack a land and play one more for Dreamhalls. For some reason I kept thinking it cost 4, but it is 5.
We can also do it.
Alright, so Dreamhalls, oh, he had the show and tell too.
Time stretch.
Dreamhalls pitching a show and tell to play out. Is that the eel? No, what is that?
Yeah, that's good.
All these obscure cards. Oh my. It is not. Oh, it's a draw spell. Duh. Okay. Is it the draw 4? No, it's the extra turn spell. Sorry, my bad. It is time stretch. That was a time stretch to get another draw. So a very expensive draw 1. And unfortunately, it looks like Caustic hit a land. 1 card in hand?
Oh my god, there we go. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
We'll cast opportunity.
Yeah.
And we're playing out more things. This is an opportunity,
Damage. I don't know.
which is draw 4. Okay, so this is what he would like to have hit before.
13 or 18?
This is.
And David just making sure the damage is taken off of the tomb.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm.
Pretty sure I haven't taken it.
Yeah, I think.
Alright, so with a draw 4, you would hope you hit at least 1 more draw spell. Hopefully more.
You didn't need that. You sacked and you spent.
He does get a Lotus Petal in hand, but all of his big draws are too expensive to cast off of, well, any number of Lotus Petals he has remaining in the deck. So he's really hoping to see at least 2 blue cards out of that draw 4, with at least one of them being another big draw spell. And it looks like he's getting a little flooded, maybe? As a polluted delta to go fetch out another island. And David just sitting back wondering how this is going to end. Is the combo player going to brick and potentially punish? Or is he actually going off? And it kind of looks like he's going off. He's just being very careful about it right now, trying to thin the deck down a little bit more before the next draw spell, hopefully. Who are we impulsing here? No, we are removing all other lands from the deck. Alright, this is fantastic. This drastically reduces the number of dead hits that Caustic can have with his combo. All those draw spells turn into even more draw spells. Really only blanking if he hits all of his fish or the Lotus Petals. Granted, there are also a decent amount of counter spells. The counter spells themselves, he's running 4 of, and the Arcane Denials are 4 as well. I think that might be a little aggressive for the main deck. Obviously, you want to protect your combo, but if you're really trying to draw into and cycle into potentially infinite turns, I think you'd almost want to have those be more draw spells and have them in the sideboard in case you're up against a blue deck or some other kind of deck that can interact during your turn.
Kind of whiffed, man. That sucks.
Not saying you should get rid of all the counter spells, just maybe put a few more draws in there. Okay, so all the lands are gone. Oh, and passing, this is so bad. We did see a Parallax in David's hand. And as long as he has another blue source, that is definitely a way to interact. Obviously, Caustic already has the Dreamhalls up, but I think there was a Seal of Cleansing as well.
Just take. Let's see. I'm still thinking about those.
Oh, a little bit of card spillage. Deciding how many cards he wants to take here. So there is a Parallax Tide. And just gonna take 2. So 4 damage down to 6.
I'm leaving.
Again,
So it's 4 per
life total against a deck like this doesn't
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah.
necessarily matter. Alright, one of them is a Seal of Cleansing, which will probably get played out because you want to deal with that Dreamhalls as fast as possible, but David can now use the Dreamhalls to his own advantage.
2 in hand? That's right.
And I wonder if he realizes that as well. Because he does have an Enlightened Tutor. Alright, we're gonna play out a city. I think it's oh gosh, I gotta remember exactly what this does. City of Solitude. Each player may only play spells during their own turns, which kind of makes sense in a combo deck, or against a combo deck, I should say. Alright, he does know he can use Dreamhalls, and he's getting rid of the Parallax Tide. Interesting.
I'm gonna bounce it to my hand. 1, 2.
Just gonna play out this attunement to draw 3 and discard 4. Do his own little draw spells in here, and getting rid of the seal and another tide. I wonder, and the attunement. I wonder what he possibly could. He did keep his swords.
4. Then
Discarding the swords for a replenish. Okay, so the tides make a lot more sense. And yeah, you do pitch the card as part of the cost, so you pitch it and then it resolves, I believe. So getting back so many things. Using the Dreamhalls against him. Oh my, maybe David needs to be running Dreamhalls. This is looking very bad. 2 tides on the field. Goodbye all your lands. 2 seals, so even if you do have another Dreamhalls, you're never playing it. This is looking very bad. Oh, and of course, all enchantments cost 2 more and can sack that enchantment at instant speed to blow up any artifact or enchantment. So yeah, let's get rid of all the lands here. Doing one first. And one more. And then let's hit all 3 of the islands. In response, sack one of the seals, trigger on the stack. And the way old templating works, those lands are gone. And remember, Caustic removed all his other lands, so those are the only islands he had left. So unless there's another couple Lotus Petals in hand and he draws a Dreamhall, I don't think this is going to work out well. I don't think this is going to be a happy finish for Caustic. I think this is pretty much just locked out. And David is going to pass the turn. David doesn't have a win con yet, but Caustic has no lands left in his deck or in play, and is only left with Lotus Petals and honestly, I think that's about it. This is looking very bad. All David needs to do is see a threat, get that Oath or a Terravore, and this becomes a very, well, final game. It already is looking very final. I think he found another Replenish, so not taking any damage. Thinking about it. Probably not taking damage, yeah. Not taking damage. I guess if he has an Opalescence too, that could be good, but nope, he's got a Terravore in hand. Gonna take one off of the Yavimaya. And now this is a real problem. Now that Terravore is only a 1/1, I believe. Maybe a... No, it might be a 3/3. I think there was 2 fetch lands that Caustic had. Let's see, we got... Oh, and the sack land. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's a 4/4. Which is a very relevant clock against a deck that has no lands. I'm gonna take a look at the library. Probably... Yep, just taking one. Is that an Armageddon? That's just extra brutal, unnecessary. There's no more lands in the deck. Stop kicking them. All right, we're down to 13,
I'll cast this just to
and playing out a Parallax Wave.
to you. Yeah. And what do you have?
Interesting.
You've just taken 4 and a couple of 13.
I guess as a way to protect his Terravore just in case. All right, remember to cycle down the counters. Looking at the cards, looks like a couple of pain lands, and I'm not really sure what the other one is, but gonna pick up a pain land and play it for
One
turn.
into hand, play it. Yeah, I'll swing.
And I believe this is all but game over. Caustic, I don't know what his outs are necessarily. He does have a pedal in hand. Maybe he is hoping for that last pedal. But even then, I don't think it's gonna matter because you need 5 for the Dreamhalls. What could he possibly...
In your end step, I'm
What is his out here?
last time I exile my wasteland. Go to untap, upkeep. This dies.
Oh, I see. Okay, so
1, 2,
doing a little bit of trickery. Flickering things and removing things to
6. Try to get you for 6.
get that wasteland, take care of that ancient tomb. And down to 3?
Play another replenish.
One more. Wait, was that another replenish? It was. Oh no. Oh my. All right. Well, I think this is probably, if it wasn't game over 4 turns ago, it is definitely game over now.
It actually wins with a mug of
Oh, okay. We're talking through the win con here. David trying to go in for the fist bump, but
stick turns.
Nate Caustic wanting to talk about what he's doing, and yep, there's the bump. Game over. David's gonna take it down in 2, and it's a little sad that Caustic didn't get to do what he wanted to do, but I do know that in future rounds he did very well and was able to actually combo off against a deck that wasn't just main deck teched to wreck his evening. So good job to both players. Hope to see both of them on camera again. We have 5 rounds of the tournament, and then it cut to top 4, so a total of 7 rounds. So got to get cranking on them because the next tournament is coming up towards the end of next month. We've already got it scheduled. If you guys are in Portland or are interested in joining one of these tournaments that we hold every month, the Discord link is in the bottom of the video description. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you catch the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss it. And I will see you next time.